Everybody needs to relax.
Just chill, man.
guys.
Just chill.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been cleared for takeoff. You are now flying high with Travis Lamance.
What's happening, Flying High friends? Welcome to another episode of the Flight Deck. Excited today. We're going to be recapping our King Air Gathering experience, and we had an episode we recorded with Carl Davis down there. If you guys have been following the show, listening to other episodes, he gets referenced pretty frequently on our show. He and I have been good friends for a long time, and so we got into shenanigans and stuff references back to him a lot. So that was fun getting him on an episode, and got to cover close a few of the loops on things we reference sometimes. So it was good.
Yeah, it was good. The origin story of the furry cows all goes back to him, and you get to hear it from his own mouth.
Yeah, he gets blamed for my cattle problems frequently. So
Yeah. So how many years has the King Air Gathering been going on?
So I'll screw up the lineage on it, but I'll recap it the best I recall. Roughly 8, maybe 9 years now it's been going. The original, I think the very first one was, so Dean Benedict is a legend in the King Air world, been working on King Airs forever, and probably one of the most intelligent maintenance guys about King Airs out there. Had his own shop out in Las Vegas, or in Boulder City, just right outside of Las Vegas there. And my recollection is they hosted the very first one at his shop out there and had a really good turnout on it. The guy that owned King Air Academy has been a big part of that as well. And then after that first year at Dean's shop, I think it was 1 and 2 at Dean's. I should remember this, but I don't. And then they did like 4 or 5 years in a row at Fredericksburg. They kept it there for several years in a row. And then after that, it started moving around a little bit. So the first one I was involved with personally was down at St. Augustine, Florida. And then we did the Greenbrier the next year. And then we did Phoenix last year. And then we did Horseshoe Bay this year. And it's in a little bit of what we're wanting to accomplish now. I think it's still in discussion and trying to figure out which way to go with it. But I think what most people's desire is to turn it into kind of a association of its own, and have like a regular board of people that are invested in the King Air world and making decisions on it. And so right now everyone involved is trying to figure out if we want to just keep it at a fixed location and do that every year, or keep kind of moving it around the country. So I think the future of that event is still a little bit in flux. It's going to exist in some capacity, but we're just not completely sure how yet, or what it's going to look like yet.
Yeah.
But it's an important event for anybody in the King Air world, and it needs to live on and just figure out what shape it takes.
Yeah.
This year, the King Air Gathering was at the tail end of the week. In the front end of the week, we had NBAA Schedulers and Dispatchers Conference. So me and Chris and Bethany went out to Schedulers and Dispatchers, and that was a badass event too. Got a lot of really good stuff out of it. That was Bethany's first event with us as a representative of Haven, and she knocked it out of the park. She did a fabulous job. And then Chris was there too.
Dang.
It was my first one too, but it's all good.
No, he did great. And then I pieced out a day early on S&D and left him and Bethany there to wrap up that show so that I could get down to the King Air Gathering and attend that one. So it was a hectic week of conventions and traveling and all that stuff, but it was fruitful and it was fun. The Schedulers and Dispatchers, this was their highest attendance they've ever had at one of those. It was a knockout show. Ab Fuel did a deal at the House of Blues that was really, really good. Their marketing team is next level. They do an amazing job at all the events that they do. And then that one, you meet a lot of new people, get a lot of new connections. And then King Air Gathering is really good in a different way. It's almost like a family reunion for me, because I've been around all these King Air guys for so long. It's fun to hook up with all of them and catch up on war stories and keep those relationships and connections going. And so they're both great, just in different directions. So
That makes sense. What was the standout moments for you at the Schedulers and Dispatchers?
The introduction speech was very, very great. And then being able to meet so many different people from across the country, and outside of our country. made some definitely good connections and a lot of interesting stuff people are working on in the background that can be very beneficial to the aviation industry.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for someone like me who's brand new to this whole world, like what all does a schedulers and dispatchers conference consist of, and like what are they focusing on?
There was a lot of FBOs there and a lot of charter companies there, and I think a lot of interconnection trying to make deals on who can provide the best services for some of the charter brokers, and then vice versa, what everyone can do to help each other through the industry.
Yeah.
I made a lot of good connections. If we needed help, if we didn't have a plane, we got good connections built. And we're still working on them, and everyone has each other's backs, you know what I mean, to make sure the job gets done. They may be using us if they have a plane that goes AOG. They have our contacts. They could use us for relief to help salvage the mission. So
Yeah.
a lot of great stuff in that aspect.
That's one thing I've really noticed about this industry is, and maybe it goes back to there being so much opportunity and all that, but I have been super impressed on how willing everybody is to help each other, and it's just not as competitive as most industries that I've experienced. It's pretty legit.
Yeah, the whole industry is just great to each other. It seems like, the people in aviation are what makes aviation so special, in my opinion, that willingness.
Yeah.
Because there will be a time where we help someone else out, and then we'll be in the same situation, and, what comes around goes around. Everyone's going to help each other because we all know what the end result needs to be. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
There's just so much interdependence because there's so much coordination that has to happen for these aircraft to get from point A to point B, and you're never at your home base when something goes wrong, and they all understand that like we do. So if you're out at some location 1,000 miles from home, you need each other's help to take care of your clients. So most people understand that dynamic and are pretty willing to help with it. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
and Ken Rickey that runs FlexJet, he did the keynote, and that guy's just phenomenal. He's so inspirational to hear how he built his company over the years and all the ups and downs he's been through. And they did their keynote kind of interview style where the president of the NBAA interviewed him on stage and kind of went through his whole story, and it was really cool to listen to. I like that guy's story and how he got to where he's at and built a phenomenal company. And now they've partnered with LVMH on all, they're the biggest luxury brand in the world. It's Louis Vuitton and all them. And so now they've partnered with them, and they're doing like bringing a lot of that high-end luxury brands philosophies into the aviation world and kind of taking it to the next level. And hearing how all that went down and everything was pretty cool for people like me that's trying to build a brand, and hearing their take on it and putting our own spin on things that they're learning lessons on it was cool.
Heck yeah. Well, I think you may have had the standout keynote session at King Air Gathering. At least there was a lot of buzz about it afterwards.
It seemed to strike a chord. People had a lot of positive feedback on it, so we kind of flipped the script from what they did at the S&D to where at King Air Gathering, we did the keynote session and an interview live audience podcast set with Alex, and that was phenomenal. He was such a great guest and has such a cool story. So I look forward to getting that episode out on the airwaves there in the next month or whatever your schedule is on that.
Be dropping in early May, my friends. It'll be worth the wait, though. He's had a crazy career, and as a presidential pilot, has great stories, great mission, and yeah, that was a cool interview, man. And it the nerd over here is super pleased with how the footage came out. It looks really good, and yeah,
that set being impromptu on the stage like that, and having to deal with some interesting audio stuff and how to throw up a stage set in a few minutes in between, and trying to keep on schedule. There was a lot of challenges on your end to pull that off, and I think it's probably our best audio and video that we've done on a show yet. I think it looks very, very high tier, and for it to happen in that environment, and then that was a big win right there. And then fortunately he was a really good interview. He had such great content, and he's such a good speaker that kind of wrapped it up. And that was our first experiment with trying to film an episode in front of a live audience. So I didn't know how I would, I had never done that, so I didn't know how I would respond, and it seemed to go well.
I
I
did,
think
man.
it was good.
For sure. Talk us through like your personal process of doing something new, doing an interview live in front of an audience. Like, how did you decide to navigate that going into it? Or how did you frame your mindset going into it?
Well, my biggest concern for knowing myself and how I behave is I'm inclined to engage with the audience, to bring them into the conversation. And for the people there in the room, it may have been an improved experience for them if I would have engaged with them or did a little Q&A or, got some feedback from them. But then the end result of that episode would have been disconnected feeling because we didn't have the audience mic'd up and they'd be lost in the conversation, all that. So I chose just to not acknowledge that we had an audience there, and I treated it just like I was sitting here talking to Alex one-on-one and there was no one around. My intent was that would make a better episode at the end of the day that was cohesive. I actually think it made for a better audience experience to just hear his uninterrupted story instead of being broke down into the audience engagement. So,
and a lot of people followed up with him afterwards and were asking him questions out in the halls and stuff. It was cool, man.
The level of interest that everyone had in his story after the fact was really cool. And then since we were on a schedule, we couldn't get his whole story all at once. So we had to break it into another set. So but it was fun to go get the second set with them and get the rest of the story. The Paul Harvey out of him there. So that was cool. And then I don't know if we want to save the events of the auction and all that stuff, but that was really
let's save
cool
that
too.
for the
You guys will find out about it later, but it was phenomenal. It
was a good time.
It was a good time, yeah. So
sure.
Yeah, it was a great event overall. The Horseshoe Bay Resort that hosted us, they did a good job of providing a good venue, and it was real close proximity to the airport to be able to go over and see the static display of all the King Airs. And I mean, just anybody that's at all interested in the King Air world would love that event.
Yeah. Carl, did he have the Demon King Air?
It wasn't there this year. It was at the Phoenix one last year, but
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad it wasn't there. I'd really be bummed up. I missed getting over there and seeing it, but that collab is ridiculous. So speaking of Carl, you got to interview him as well, and that just came out. And yeah, man, what stood out to you?
Man, I really like his attitude. Carl's a good guy, I definitely like his level of discipline and what he's done. His discipline was slack and how he went and hated running or walking and running, and he had the 1,000-mile goal that he went and did. That really stood out. Just like, man, talk about something you hate doing. You go torture yourself, not 100 miles, but 1,000 miles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that to me was just showing like the mindset change of willing to do whatever it takes, to get that mental bump and show yourself that you can do something and discipline through it.
Yeah. Did you have anything to do with that Dodge Demon collab, or had you just seen it? Or
part of, not too much part of it, but a little bit part of when it was here getting the wing lockers and
nice.
Yeah.
Bro, that's really cool, man.
I walked by and ran my hand down and went to another airplane probably, but
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We had done the maintenance on that airplane for 4 or 5 years previous to Carl buying it, so we knew the airplane really well, knew it was had good bones in it, and it was an ideal candidate whenever we found out what he was wanting to do there. And so that was a fun, it was all his brainchild and everything. We just were fortunate enough to get to be a part of it, and it turned out really cool.
Not to brag, but I got to fly in it before it was the Demon Bird.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
on check flight once, so.
That's cool, man. So had it already had any customization or upgrades before?
It had like some minor avionics upgrades and stuff in it, but it was a pretty stock airplane. It was one of the reasons it was a good starting point. It didn't have all the raised-back stuff on it. It didn't have the Blackhawks on it. So it was kind of starting with some fresh bones, and with what he had envisioned was making it example of what it could be with all those mods on it. So took kind of that stock airplane, put the Blackhawk engines on it, put which props did we wind up putting on that thing? I don't remember, but I know we had the raceback props, right?
I believe it's
Yeah,
full
the
blade
raceback Hartzell props on it. And then we ended up doing all the raceback, wing lockers, cowls, leading edges. Did we do the doors on it? High float doors? Yeah, I think we did.
We did high float
Whatever
doors,
it need, we did all the aftermarket stuff on it, and so we brokered it to him, and then did all the mod work on it, and then he took it to a place and had paint, interior, and avionics done on it, and just turned out badass. Like, and the whole premise of it, if for people, is the Dodge Demon car, very limited production, small batch car, crazy fast. So he ordered one and had it spec'd out, the paint and interior spec'd out the way he wanted it. And then we just built the airplane where it was spec'd out with the same paint codes, same paint colors, same interior colors. So it was a match to the car. So it was really cool seeing the airplane and the car sitting there together, and it was a good idea. I liked it.
That's sick.
Yeah. And then he sold the set to a guy, and think he's pretty happy with it. But
yeah.
Hey guys, we'll get back to the video in a sec, but first, quick question for you business owners and high achievers watching. When you're traveling around the country for deals, scaling teams, or managing stress, are you actually flying with a team that makes your life easier? Or are you dealing with scheduling headaches, surprise maintenance bills, and too many moving parts behind the scenes? Well, that's why today's sponsor, Haven Aviation Services Group, exists. Think of them as the safe haven of the sky. Haven is a vertically integrated aviation company, meaning they handle everything under one roof. From your private jet charters, aircraft management, brokerage, maintenance, avionics, and premium grade services at their FBO. For aircraft owners especially, this is the absolute real best value. Instead of juggling pilots, insurance, scheduling, maintenance, hangars, legal docs, Haven manages it all in one place. No guessing, no surprises, and no wondering why something suddenly costs six figures. Their entire focus is transparency, safety, and long-term planning. So you actually trust the people managing your aircraft and don't have to stress about it at all. So if you want an aviation partner that operates with the same discipline and results-driven mindset we talk about on the show, hit the link in the description to connect with Haven Aviation Services Group. Big thanks to Haven ASG for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to the show.
Carl's other terminology to win. What's important now, I think that's
acronym.
acronym. Yeah. I like that. Definitely put it in my back pocket, when you're kind of overwhelmed. What's important now? What's going to make me win today, Kind of goes right in line with the A1 sauce,
Yeah. He's Carl's always got some crazy expression or acronym or something for any situation. He throws a lot of them out there. He's funny. But he's built, he owns King Air Nation, and it was Davis Aviation for a long time, and he's built an incredible company out of it. And anybody that has anything to do with King Airs in the U.S. for sure, but pretty much worldwide, knows who he is related to that, because he's been such an instrumental piece of the King Air world for so long.
So where all internationally will you find King Airs?
Everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, the King Air is just such a utility. It's the F-150, it's the Suburban. I mean, like, it's just a lower cost point aircraft that you still get good, I don't know if luxury is the right word, but it's still an elevated filling airplane, and you just can haul whatever you want in it, and it's just got tons of room for the price point. With it being a turboprop, it's really good at short field stuff. If you're going into smaller airports, you can do grass and gravel off airport stuff with it. It's just a well-rounded machine. Like, you just, it's not a super niche aircraft that has one mission. Like, that's why so many people use it for EMS. They use it for spotters for the firefighting people. They use it for the military, has the C-12 and some other versions of it that they use for reconnaissance and surveillance and cargo. And like, you can just make that airframe do just about anything you want. So it's just so versatile that a lot of foreign militaries use it. A lot of foreign dignitaries use it. A lot of private foreign use as well. So I don't think you can go anywhere in the world and not encounter a King Air.
Nice. Is the Bonanza the same way?
No, the Bonanza is a single engine piston airplane, in the piston engine world, it's pretty versatile, but not nearly as much so as a King Air, in my opinion. It's a great airplane for what it's made.
I just meant international.
Oh yeah,
as far
yeah.
as-
You'll find them all over the place as well. I mean, it's mission variety on it's a lot more limited, but as far as its footprint, you'll find them everywhere.
Yeah. I figured. Did I ever tell you the story about when I was in South America in that Bonanza?
No.
So I was working in South America and I needed to get from in between two countries, and it was like kind of last minute, so I had to find like a local guy that could get me over there. And this guy had a Bonanza, and so I show up and it's this really short strip, and then it's just rainforest, you know, like tall at the end. And I'm watching whoever else had booked this trip with me. They were like loading in a bunch of cargo and stuff. And I was like, dang, like that feels like that's a lot of cargo. And then I'm counting us and
I'm counting us.
And I'm looking at how short the runway is. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, this guy seems to know what he's doing. And so I'm right behind him. And we start going down the runway. And he takes off. And I'm like looking out the window. And I'm like, God, like, I feel like that tree line is coming really fast. But, you know, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
He's a professional.
And man, we like barely missed the tree line. And then this joker looks back and goes, "Whoa, that was close." I was like, "No, you do not tell me that. You tell me that went exactly as planned." Now I'm worried about the landing, man.
That was close.
It was wild.
Not what you want your pilot to tell you.
No,
That was
definitely not,
Trim the top of these trees.
bro.
Did you ride in the front with him, or were you in the middle?
I was right behind him though.
Yeah. That was close.
But yeah, that was not
Not what you wanted to hear, huh?
negative.
Yeah. Bonanza's a great airplane for family trying to cruise around. It's got really good performance and speed on it, and it's a good, well-rounded airplane.
Yeah, I survived.
It's all that matters, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, that was close. Carl's got really cool family life that we didn't get into in a whole lot of that, but his wife Paula's amazing. She's a lot of fun to hang out with, and they got a lot of fun stuff going on.
Awesome.
I like the story that he told about the miniature bull.
Bro.
I was living that one live with him. He was texting me and talking to me about it as it was going on. I was like, that poor animal. Holy cow.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it just makes my stomach hurt. Poor little low-centered dude.
Yeah.
Or immaculately endowed dude.
Yeah.
Blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got to risk stepping on it, you got a problem one way or the other. Textron brought their Crimson Edition King Air 350 to that static display. That thing was badass, dude.
Yeah.
That's their new special line, and the paint colors they chose on it's really cool. But on the interior, it's like black leather with red piping, and the part that was really cool is kind of like some of the higher end sports cars and stuff. It has like the regular leather in the middle of the seats, but then it's got the matching suede inserts kind of around that.
Right.
That interior was pretty freaking awesome on that airplane.
Nice.
It was really cool. Yeah.
You know, one interior I'm surprised we haven't seen yet is some Louis Vuitton interior. I don't know why.
That'll be all over that FlexJet stuff. They're redoing all their
It made
interior.
me think about it when we were talking about that. I was like, I'm surprised I haven't saw that yet. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, wallets, purses. I mean, people make a lot of stuff with that Louis
Well,
Vuitton.
like that buddy of yours that made those wallets for us. It's like hand-tooled leather on one side and Louis Vuitton on the other side. Whenever we build our own interior, that's what we'll do. A combination of hand-tooled leather and Louis.
Haven arrow symbol. It's all back
Yeah.
with Louis Vuitton.
That'd be dope.
Blue Louis Vuitton.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's next
Gotta be
level.
Stick with their colors.
We call that Bluey Vuitton.
Blue.
Stupid.
White seats with a blue Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton.
Blue. And then there was a gentleman, I didn't get in time to talk to him, but he had an airplane there from an F-90 there from Canada that won best paint, and it was like white, light gray to white on the very front, and then as it went down the airplane, it like transitioned by the time it got to about the middle into a dark gray, and by the end it was almost black. So you don't see those blended paint jobs on airplanes very often. It was pretty dope.
It was nice, yeah.
It's pretty cool
Super
looking.
smooth gradient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the craziest paint job you've ever seen on a plane?
That one that we just did the pre-buy on here a little while ago was pretty top shelf. The ass kicking hot sauce. Yeah, that was badass, dude. It was
Yeah.
like red and yellow, and that there's a hot sauce company out there called it's ass kicking hot sauce, right?
Yeah, with the donkey that's kicking.
Yeah, and it's like red and yellow, and it had the donkey logo up on the tail on it, and that thing you'd see it from a mile away, and it was pretty out there. But they went all out on that, like the whole, like the interior, the headrest had the ass kicking hot sauce logo and everything on it, and then the G1000 up front, when you fired up, the screen came up with the ass kicking hot sauce logo and everything. They did it all the way out.
That's
It was
legit.
pretty cool.
Kid Rock's got a pretty
Oh, yeah.
standout paint job too on his Challenger.
Well, his was pretty basic other than the tail, right?
It's a pretty nice looking paint job. It
Yeah.
stands out. It says American Badass across the top of the windows.
It's almost like a U.S. or like a presidential paint scheme, except it's different colors, but it's kind of laid out like that. And then where it usually says United States of America, it says that on it, right?
I believe American Badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it has the finger flipping you off on the tail. It's pretty fun.
He's got that like fake White House, right, on his
Mhm.
property. Yeah.
The gold toilets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Do you see the drama going on with him right now?
Mm-mm.
Well, he didn't do anything, but he was standing out on his balcony by his pool, and one of the Apache or a Cobra or an Apache, I don't remember which. I think it was a Cobra helicopter pulls up in front of him, and so it's just hovering out there in front of him, and he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And they're in the helicopter waving at him and all this stuff, and then they just kind of turned and dropped off and went out. No big deal, right? Well, it blew up on social media, of course, so all these people, what was the mission that they were there for? And they, so everyone's trying to hate on the military guys that did this and all that.
Yeah.
So on a press conference the other night, they hit Trump up about it, and they're like, "Well, what do you think about this deal?" And he's like, "I didn't see it." And he's like, "They like Kid Rock. I bet they had a lot of fun." Like he told, it was nothing. But the video was cool where Kid Rock's standing there by his pool all doing that, and then that helicopter just out there hovering, and it was pretty neat.
Nice.
They're trying to make an issue out of something that wasn't really an issue, but
Yeah. Everybody needs to relax.
just chill, man. Just chill. Well, big problem going on in the aviation world right now is windshields. Like nobody can get windshields currently, and there was a guy there talking about what was going on with all that, so it was fun to listen to. And seems like the pipeline on that's getting a little narrower. Are we getting any closer to getting that windshield we've had on back order forever? Never can get an ETA. We've had one on order for a customer for
14 months.
14, 15
What?
months. Yeah.
Like, what causes the backup? Or
Well, there's only like one main person that makes windshields, and
Didn't the
I can't
plant
remember.
burn down?
Yeah, I can't remember if I'm inventing that or if that's what happened. My understanding though is one of their factories burned down, and then they're so backlogged on new production stuff that they're building all the new production windshields for the aircraft that they're committed to on the assembly line, that they don't have the capacity to build enough aftermarket windshields for replacement for the current fleet. So
like, are you saying there's one company that does the windshields for all aircraft?
yeah,
What?
yeah, PPG does all of them.
That
There
is
might be
insane.
another one out there, but as far as I know, it's just PPG. That's the one that we talk about all the time anyway, that's causing all the backlogs. And
Wow.
I think they're getting ahead of it, and they're getting it better. I think the production times are coming down from like that year backlog down to 6 months, 5 months type stuff, but
Wow.
still a big issue. Everyone's like paranoid about their windshields right now, because if
I bet.
if you have a windshield failure, you may have your aircraft parked for months and months and months waiting on it. So
Golly.
Stay tuned. Haven
Yeah.
Aero windshield.
Right.
Soon.
and if like normally you can just put in an order and buy a spare or whatever, but right now to get one you really got to go on the AOG list, which means you're out of service. You can't fly your airplane, and usually you call and tell them your AOG, they're just like, okay, they put you on the AOG board, charge you a little more money usually. But right now, everybody's trying to say their AOG to try to get a spare windshield in. So now you're having to like take a picture of your windshield and show the discrepancy and show that your aircraft's not flying, and you like got to prove that you're actually AOG to get on there. And if you truly are AOG and get on the board, I think the manufacturers are doing the best they can to get that timeline down. But
Man,
it's causing a lot of stress because it's not just King Airs. It's pretty system wide on not every aircraft, but a large number of the aircraft in the fleet are affected by it.
I was talking to a gentleman that has a 135 operation about a month back, and he's got one stuck down there in South Texas, a 135 Premier that's been down for 6 months just waiting on a windshield, you know.
Gosh, you talk about a killer. If that's your 135 bird and you're trying to generate revenue and you're just parked for 6 months.
Over a windshield, you know.
Man.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a bummer. And, you know, finding serviceable units, you know, if you do find one by some miracle, I mean, it costs 4 times as much as a
oh yeah,
normal windshield. People know what they got, and they get a little bit greedy on the helping someone outside. But
yeah,
They definitely have some people taking advantage if they were fortunate enough to have some inventory on them.
no doubt.
There was a lot of good vendors showed up out there at the gathering. We had Yingling there, Westar, Stevens, Elliott. So it's from an owner's perspective, you know, it would be great to just have Haven there because then we'd have a captive audience. But from an owner's perspective, it's really cool because the vendor count that's there, it's like all the top end, anything you need for a King Air, there's somebody there that can help you with it, and
Yeah.
all good, reputable providers that were there. And the folks over there at Stevens, they do a lot with King Airs, and they're always a big supporter, and so it's fun to have them around there too. And
Nice.
so yeah, it's if you're a owner of a King Air and you're like trying to solve a problem or trying to figure out what's going on in the world with King Airs, there's everybody that you need to talk to about a King Air's in that room.
Yeah.
Textron was a big supporter this year. My recollection, historically, they haven't been super involved, but this year they were heavily involved with it and had a booth and a lot of reps and stuff there. And so there's nothing you couldn't find out about a King Air there.
Very cool. Yeah, good event.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Carson that owns King Air Academy, you know, they were there representing the pilot training side of the house, and they train a lot of King Air pilots every year, and they've been a supporter and a mainstay of that event since it started. So
Yeah.
Well,
looking forward. What's the remaining big events this year that you're excited about?
we've got a couple of the Falcon owner groups sessions coming up. Those are going to be fun to go hang out with all the Falcon owners. We have NBAA out in Vegas, the main show of NBAA. That's like in September, October. And then we have NBAA regional out at White Plains here. I think it's in May. I don't remember all the dates on these, but we
just
still
next month.
Yeah, so we have White Plains, we have the Falcon owner group ones, we have the NBAA big show, and then we have, I'm forgetting some right now. We still got a bunch. Like, seems like we've been back to back to back to back. It
Yeah.
feels like I've been on the road for months now. But
The spring was pretty wild.
yeah, it was hectic.
Glad we have a little bit of breathing room coming up because I think we need to make a splash at the Vegas event this year.
Yeah,
It'll give us a
for
little bit of time to
Get ready for it.
plan some cool stuff for that. And yeah, and then stay tuned, my friends. We've got some cool things coming out media wise for you guys to enjoy. And so just be keeping an eye on it. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button, like, follow, share, all the things, and we'll have some more content coming to you soon. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been cleared for takeoff. You are now flying high with Travis LeMans.